crypto, how to identify when we're at the top of the crypto bull market and it's time to start exiting our positions. In this video, I'm going to share with you 6 indicators that I've personally used for many years to identify when it is time to start pulling profits out of the crypto market. Do me a favor, hit the like button, and let's get into today's video. Now guys, before we find out about those 6 indicators that I think you're going to find really useful because they've really helped me over the past few years, just a quick disclaimer. Nothing I say in this video should be taken as financial advice. I'm sharing my experiences of being in crypto over the past few years for entertainment purposes only. If you wish to go and buy crypto, then you must understand that crypto trading is risky and you can lose money, so make sure you don't use money that you can't afford to lose. Now we've got that out of the way, let's get on with it. Now guys, before we jump in and find out about those 6 indicators, there's something we need to understand about how crypto works, because if we can understand the game that's being played, then guess what? It's going to make it incredibly easy to be non-emotional and to make better choices. There's 2 players in this game of crypto: the smart money and the retail investor. Retail investor is you and me, okay? We represent the liquidity that is going to get extracted from the market if we're not very careful. The other side is the whales, the institutions, the banks, Donald Trump probably, and the other kind of major players that are in the markets. Their game is to try and take as much money from retail investors like us as possible. And our job is to identify the games that they play, and if we can't beat them, join them. Because if we sit on that side of the table, we can do a lot better for ourselves than if we sit on this side of the table where 95% of people don't really make much money at all. If anything, they end up losing money. So what is the game? Well, it's this. The market runs through emotion. Fear and greed. That's why we've got the fear and greed index on Bitcoin, which is a very good indicator, really, of where the market is at any point. Now, when the market is low, like it was back in 2023, the smart money that know what the plan is, that know where the markets are going, because they pretty much control the markets, are looking to buy. So what do they need to do in order to be able to buy as much as possible? They need to be able to create a lot of fear and worry in the markets. So retail investors feel lots of fear, they sell their crypto in order to create the liquidity for the smart money to buy at the best prices. And you may have realized, if you've been involved in crypto over the past few years, that this happens multiple times. This was the Japan carry trade, where we were hearing all those stories about going into recession and that crypto was going to bleed back down to like $30,000. Lo and behold, in the few weeks that followed, Bitcoin went up 120%. Then fast forward to back in April. Donald Trump announces the tariffs. The market's going to go into recession. It's time to sell all your crypto. At least that's what many people were saying. All of a sudden, Bitcoin goes up 60%. And if you were selling back here and not buying into the market, then make sure you're subscribed to the House of Crypto, my main YouTube channel, where I cover everything to do with the macro and how to identify these traps that the smart money are playing. And also subscribe to this channel, the School of Crypto, which is going to be a far more educational based platform. On the House of Crypto, we look much more into different altcoin setups to be able to see the best opportunities in the markets. Over here, we're looking into day trading, how to do day trading. We're also looking into other technical and kind of psychological stuff that's really going to help up your game and help you to be as profitable as possible during the crypto bull market. So anyway, we had lots of fear and worry around here. Everyone was selling. What happened? All the smart money, the big money, were buying. We saw BlackRock buying Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana here. We saw Donald Trump, World Liberty Finance, buying a lot of Ethereum and Bitcoin here. Lo and behold, market goes back up. Okay, they know the game. So every time fear is in the market is typically a good time to be getting in. It's what Warren Buffett has always said. Now, another thing, when there's lots of greed and hype in the market, it is being used so that those same people who want to take our money, they're using various hype news stories and excitement to try and keep us in the market. Do you remember back to around January? Donald Trump rolled into office and everyone was very bullish on what was going to happen in crypto. Everyone was very excited, but because he was a pro-crypto president, he was going to start buying Bitcoin and Bitcoin was going to go to $1 million. Lo and behold, literally from that day forward, Bitcoin fell from $109,000 down to $74,000. So whenever the market is very, very greedy and very, very bullish, think maybe it's time to cool off. And on the flip side of things, when it's very, very scary and worrying, maybe it's time to start looking to get into these markets. Now then, understanding that we represent the market and our emotions are very good indicators as to where the market's going next. If we're fearful and worried, it's likely going to go up next. And if we're really hyped and excited, there's a chance that it can come down towards the downside. If we're kind of unsure, it's probably in the middle somewhere, because the market always pivots on extreme emotion. Now then, let's think about 6 indicators that can give us a clue as to how people are feeling in the market in general. First of all, when people are fearful and worried, are they looking at their crypto portfolios every day? You're probably not. I definitely wasn't. Okay, I'm more tempted to look at it now because it's going up. So if I'm not looking at it and I'm not particularly interested in crypto, that tends to mean that I'm a bit more fearful and a bit more worried. So how do we see how many people are looking at crypto on any given day? Well, if you come across to trends.google, then you can see different search terms and how many people are searching for them over time. This is the search term crypto worldwide over the past 5 years. And look, this tops May the 9th, 2021. Let me just go to a Bitcoin chart to show you. May the 9th, 2021 was around here. Bitcoin had been sat pretty much up at all-time highs for quite a long time. A lot of altcoins were also pumping. Come back here, we get a second spike when that around November the 6th. If we come back to here, November the 6th sits pretty much here. Okay, so whenever there's lots of hype and excitement in the market, it can be a sign to take exits. Don't have to just use this one indicator. If you keep all these indicators together, it's going to give you a very damn good idea of what's going on at any time. And the fact that right now we sit about here, having moved a little bit higher, tells us that we're in the middle. Okay, I don't know about you. I'm not feeling overly bullish, but I'm also not worried. I think we're heading higher and higher. And once this starts to get up towards these levels, then maybe I'm going to start getting out of the market, whether I've made the 10 grand that I needed to make or not. Now that shows you the search volume on Google, and it also shows you the search volume on YouTube and whatever else. You can see there's just web searches. Second tool today is lunacrush.com. Once people have been in crypto for a little bit of time, they start to move over to X, crypto, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And then what they tend to do when they've been making some money and the markets are good, they want to go and interact more with different posts. They're talking about their meme coins. They're going and trying to shill their projects to other people to try and get more people to come in and buy them. Everyone's feeling pretty good. And what Lunacrush does is it shows us the number of engagements on a particular topic at any time. If you search for cryptocurrency under trends you're looking for, you can see back in December where we saw a lot of those highs and into January, the number of engagements around the crypto topic was huge. 120 million engagements in a single day. However, right now you can see that it sits all the way down here. You can go and look at different mentions, see how many people are talking about them. The mentions should be a little bit higher because ultimately they're coming from kind of experts. You can go and look at the different mentions. You can see the sentiment, okay? Sentiment doesn't seem to be such a good guide, but look at the engagement, probably the best one to look at, okay? So when the engagement is up here and pumping like crazy, it means that normal people are hyped. They want to be talking crypto. Right now, we've got a lot of room to move. Once this gets up to 80 to 100 million, start to think about when to be getting out of the markets. You can see where it was last time. Now the third one, legacy media. You might have heard about crypto for the first time at some point on the BBC News in the UK, or maybe Fox News or CNN or whatever news channel you're watching around the world at any time. When that news is telling you about Bitcoin and how high Bitcoin might go, and we've just spoken to JP Morgan and they've told us that we expect the Bitcoin price to be going to 300k this year, that's also a bit of a good time to start thinking about taking profits. Remember, if we think back to what I was telling you using this Bitcoin chart where I was saying that up here, the smart money wants to start selling to you, what they do is a lot of things. They will go out to legacy media and they will start to encourage news stories that are very bullish. The same time in the last bull market, the CEO of JP Morgan was saying that Bitcoin was about to go to 150k, and this is when Bitcoin was all the way back around here. He was literally selling. Okay, there's on-chain data to show that those wallets were starting to sell Bitcoin. They were telling you at the same time that Bitcoin was going to go a lot higher so that they could exit all of their positions. It's not a very nice game, crypto, but we're here to make some gains, right? So we need to understand what the games they are playing are in order to help ourselves. On the flip side of things, when the media seems very bearish and very worrying, like it did back in August, of last year, like it did in April of this year, like it did, when we had World War III breaking out just the other day. These are usually good times to enter, typically, if you look back through history. Back here was like FTX crash. So whenever you hear all the worry and fear in the markets, not usually a bad time to get in. Whenever you hear hype and excitement on the news, whenever your mum starts talking to you about Bitcoin or whatever else, or whoever it might be, who you don't believe should be talking about Bitcoin, then maybe exit the market. If your mum likes Bitcoin, she's a cool mum. The third one, and we're going to get a little bit more technical here, so bear with me, coinglass.com. Now, coinglass.com is a very useful tool if you want to start getting a little bit more into the technicalities of crypto. Go to Coinglass and go to funding rate heat map, this orange one here. Then you're going to get this scary looking chart like this. Go down here, click for 1 year, and then just slide the color slider to the left, okay? Now, what this shows is the funding rate. Let me quickly explain what funding rate is. In crypto, you can buy crypto on spot. Like if I've got $100, I can buy $100 of Bitcoin, or I can do futures trading. I could do a 10x leverage trade on Bitcoin. Let's say I put in $1,000 at 10x. I now have a $10,000 position. If it goes up 10%, I make $1,000. If it goes down 10%, I lose $1,000. When everybody is going into leverage, then the funding rate goes up. And here's the reason. For me to take a 10x trade on $1,000 means I have to borrow $9,000 from the exchange. The exchange will charge me a fee for borrowing that money from them. And when everybody wants to borrow money at the same time, the exchange will charge a higher fee for it. Anything that's highly in demand, the fees go up. Okay, so what this chart shows us is when everybody is trying to borrow money from the exchange to bet long. And when everybody bets long, it typically means that greed has overtaken the market and it is more than likely time for it to come down. Usually, if there's a lot of over-leveraged positions, the market can come down very, very fast. So this is a very important indicator. Look, when it's orange across the board, like it was back in December, it's time to maybe start thinking of getting out. Now, while it's starting to go a bit yellow and orange here, actually it's not too bad. If you look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, which are like the big four right now, then you can see that they're all still in the green, okay? These are indicating that they're not over leveraged right now. People are still on the fence. They're not really sure. When these start to go orange, in a combination with all of the other indicators I've showed you, maybe start to think about pulling some profits from the market. It's so difficult to pull profits because everyone's going to be telling you that it's bullish. The price is going to keep rising. You're going to be making money and you're going to be like, well, just one more day, just 2 more days. I'll just keep it going. And then one day it's too many more days and the market dumps 60% on you, which happens, okay? If you get too greedy here, you get screwed. So you have to keep close attention to this. By the way, guys, if you're really enjoying this content and finding it useful, do me a favor, just hit the like button. Let me know down below what other tutorials you want to hear about. Let me know whether you like these indicators, whether you've been using any of these already. Every comment helps. I'm trying to grow the School of Crypto as well as my other channel, the House of Crypto. We're only a small team at the House of Crypto, so we need all of the support that you can give us. Now, another really useful one to look at on CoinGlass, if you click on the market, come down to where it says bull market peak indicators. This is also pretty cool as well. Now, lots of different indicators out there. I don't like to rely on any one indicator for anything, right? Indicators lag, but if you combine a lot of different indicators together, it can be very powerful. All of these are different sell the top indicators, various different chart indicators. Now, some of them might start to reach higher progress soon, okay? Bitcoin dominance is pretty high, but you can see a lot of these other ones are still very, very low down. If you want to, you can go and find out more about these indicators. You can use ChatGPT to tell you more about them. But right now, we're looking for these to start hitting. When these start hitting and start to go green, maybe it's time to get out the markets. You notice what I'm saying here? Don't rely on me, don't rely on anyone else out there to tell you when it's time to get out the markets. These indicators can give you a good opportunity to get rid of your emotion and start thinking more logically. Because when you're crazed and hyped up, remember, there's not many more people to come into the market to buy from you. And if no one else is going to come and buy from you, then it's not going to go much higher. And despite what people will tell you that Michael Saylor is going to buy more and that JP Morgan's going to come and buy more, JP Morgan didn't make money from coming and buying billions of dollars at the top of a bull market. Just think about that. They buy billions at the bottom. They tell you they're buying more at the top, but they're not. They're actually selling at the top. Now, the next one, I'm going to be quite quick with these last two because they should make pretty common sense. First one is Coinbase as an application. Coinbase is probably the easiest exchange to use, whilst not the exchange I personally use, because I personally recommend using WEEX Bitunix, because they come with some of the lowest fees out there, and BloFin. Make sure you sign up for a BloFin account, because in the next video I make on the School of Crypto, which might well be tomorrow or the next day, we're going to be entering into some trades. If you want to follow along in those trades, then make sure you're set up nice and early with a BloFin account. It's linked down below in the description. If you use these exchange links down below, I have pretty much the best offers going across the markets, because I've been working with these teams for a very long time now. So make sure you sign up for all of the different exchanges, because every time I talk about a new coin, they're going to be available on these different exchanges. So Coinbase, a very retail friendly exchange, okay? Very expensive to use, not so good because there's not many small coins, only the big coins get onto Coinbase really, but still an easy to use exchange, typically the one that many of us use when we first get into crypto. So when the number of downloads on this is going up and up and up, it tends to mean to us that lots of retail investors are entering in the market. Remember the exit liquidity, they're coming in their droves. Maybe that's time to be getting out. Right now it sits in number 16, nowhere near number 1. In the last bull market when Binance was number 1 or Coinbase was number 1, literally to the day it hit, the bull market came down. Okay, so this is a very good one. Now, last but not least, and this relies a little bit on using your ear and using your mind. Right now, you've probably got some friends and you've been telling them about crypto, and they probably don't care. They're probably not interested. Maybe you've had a few beers, you're in the taxi home, and you try and talk to the taxi driver about crypto. He doesn't care. But that will soon change. Soon, when the bull market starts to get pumped up and heated, the taxi driver's uncle is going to tell him at dinner one day that he's got into Ethereum and you should get in as well. And then everyone goes to the barbers and the coffee shop and everybody starts to talk about crypto. When you've got friends who don't have anything to do with finance and have no interest in investing and never really pay any attention to crypto or anything else, and they all of a sudden start to talk about whether it's a good time to be getting into Bitcoin or tell you that they just bought into Pengu or whatever it is out there, that is probably the number one indicator that the bull market is very nearly over. Now, do yourself a favor right now, identify what you want to make in terms of how much money you want to take out this crypto bull market, and think about what it's for. If you need to make $5,000 to pay off your student loan, write it down. Once you hit towards $5,000, pull that money out, okay? There will be another bull market in the future, but in the short term, pull the money out for what you need it for. We're not in crypto because it's fun and exciting. We're in crypto because it makes money. We're here to make money. So when you make that money, get out, okay? When these indicators start to hit and you've made that money, don't be greedy, get out. Okay, it's just a number on the screen, but that number really translates to real money in real life. Don't make the mistake that many people do of becoming too greedy into the future. Now, guys, all of these indicators should be used together, and start to understand that if you use all these indicators together and start to understand your emotions will play tricks on you and cause you to do stupid stuff, and understand that your emotions are your biggest enemy and you need to be logical, then you're probably going to do quite well in these bull markets. So make sure you're subscribed to the School of Crypto and the House of Crypto. And also, while we're at it, make sure you go and give me a follow over on X. It's Peter_THOC. If you want to stay as up to date as possible. I spend literally all day, every day in crypto. Okay, 12 hours a day. I'm literally sat here looking at charts, talking in my various different groups and things like that. If you want to get involved in the private members groups and stuff as well to identify how to find the best altcoins, then make sure you follow me over on Twitter. I'll leave a link over here slightly later on before this video goes live. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you didn't already, hit the like button, leave a comment, and I'll see you tomorrow in another video. Bye-bye.